handshake. Good evening, everyone. We're going to call to order this July 16th, 2019 meeting of the Gallatin City Council. We'll begin this meeting like we do every meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance and an invocation. Councilman Hayes is going to lead us in the pledge, and Councilman Alexander is going to offer our invocation. If you'd stand with me, please.
Let us pray. Eternal gracious God, once again we come with thanksgiving in our hearts. We thank you, dear Lord, for this beautiful day that Thou hast created. We thank you for all these council persons, all department heads, and every official of the city. We just pray, oh God, that Thou would bless this meeting in such a way that everything we say and do will be pleasing in Your sight. In Jesus' name we do pray, and every heart say, Amen.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now, Ms. Kittrell, if you would call the roll for us, please.
Vice Mayor Camp.
Present.
Mr. Alexander.
Present.
Mr. Fan.
Present.
Mr. Fennell.
Here.
Mr. Hayes.
Present.
Ms. Love. Here. And Mr. Overton is absent, but we have a quorum, Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Kittrell. Before you all now, you have the June 18th, 2019 City Council meeting minutes.
Motion to approve.
You have a motion to approve by Councilman Alexander, second by Vice Mayor Camp. Are there any corrections, additions, or changes? With none, all in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Minutes are unanimously approved. We now go to public recognition on agenda-related items. This is the time of the meeting where people who have an item of interest or concern on the evening's agenda may come forward and address the council. We ask that you come forward, give us your name and address, then you'll have 5 minutes to speak. So public recognition on agenda-related items is now open. Now, I see no one indicating that they wish to speak, so we will declare public recognition on agenda-related items closed. That leads now to Mayor's comments. I do have just a few events to share with you all. Tomorrow night is our final district meeting for Plan Gallatin, and that is with Councilwoman Love. It's happening at the Gallatin Civic Center from 5 until 7 p.m. This Thursday night is Third Thursday on Main. It's Rockland Road is the band, and I think I've mentioned before, I've heard from some other people that they're very good. So I hope everyone comes out, and I hope we have great weather for Third Thursday. This Friday night is movie night at the market, meaning at the farmer's market. And they're going to be showing Charlotte's Web there at approximately 7:45 when dusk occurs. This Saturday is Miss Lori Smiley's birthday. This is also the day that the free fishing day has been rescheduled for after it was canceled due to weather back in June. So it's going to be this Saturday at Lockport Park from 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. Also, the young professionals are hosting the 3rd annual Gauntlet Games at Triple Creek Park. That's from 10 until noon. And on Saturday, again, the car cruise-in happens. And I mentioned that again this week. And I won't be mentioning it every week, but it is going to be happening every week from now on. And it's going to be happening at the Gallatin Civic Center at the parking lot up above across from the Civic Center. So that happens from 4 until 8 every Saturday now. And it's going to be happening at the Gallatin Civic Center. Also, next weekend, the police rodeo at Triple Creek Park is coming up. That's going to be on Friday and Saturday. And on the 27th of July is a Miracle Park Golf Scramble happening at Long Hollow. And that, I believe, would conclude my comments, leading us now to the regular agenda. And the first item on this evening's agenda is second reading on Ordinance 01907-32. And Vice Mayor Camp is recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. This is ordinance appropriating $438,764 from engineering to street lighting and traffic signals. So moved.
Second.
Motion by Vice Mayor Camp, second by Councilman Alexander. Is there any discussion? Okay, this is second reading on Ordinance 01907-32. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. It is passed unanimously. Item 2 is second reading on Ordinance 01907-33. Councilman Alexander.
Thank you, Mayor. This is order appropriating $2,090,000 from the assigned general fund balance for purchase of land. This land is located at 551 East Main Street, 1062 Sugar Tree Lane, and 416 Coast Ferry Road, and I so move.
Thank you. Motion by Councilman Alexander, second by Councilwoman Love. Is there any discussion on this? Okay, this is second reading on Ordinance 01907-33. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no.
No.
I have 2 noes and 1, 2, 3, 4 yeses. Wait, no, that can't be right. 1, 2, 3 yeses. 2 noes and 3 yeses. So the motion does carry, 3 to 2.
4.
4?
2.
Okay, 4-2. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm adding crazy over here, aren't I? But I am correct, and the no votes were Councilman Hayes and Councilman Camp, Vice Mayor Camp, right? Okay. Very good. Thank you. Item 3 is first reading on ordinance 01907-34. Councilman Fennell.
Thank you, Mayor. This ordinance waiving tap fees on behalf of Habitat for Humanity. I so move.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Fennell, second by Councilman Alexander. Is there any discussion? This is ordinance 01907-34. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, please say no. It is passed unanimously. Item 4 is first reading on ordinance 01907-35. Councilman Hayes.
Yeah, this is an ordinance appropriating funds in the amount of $206,836 for installation of a traffic signal at Blue Jay Way and Nashville Pike. Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Hayes, second by Councilman Fennell. Any discussion on this item?
How long did it take? I guess that was answered in the previous meeting that I wasn't here.
I don't remember, Mr. Tuttle.
Curious.
I'm sure that we had a time frame, a limit on the contract, but our experience that we've got going on right now with the 109 project that the state is doing, and then the project that we've got going on with Coles Ferry and Airport Road, the lead time on the mast arms is over 6 months. And so they could do a lot of the groundwork and get some of the other things done, but it's likely to be at least 6 months before we actually get the poles on site to be put up. So,
Thank you, Nick.
yes.
Good.
Nick,
Councilwoman Love.
is there anything that's been heard from Lowe's in the last week?
I think Susan has spoken more with them.
Yes, I got word today that and haven't even been able to talk with the city engineer about this yet, but the person that we were dealing with at Lowe's is no longer with Lowe's as of today. So I do have a new contact person. She did contact me and was asking a lot of questions. So there was no vote, and there was no discussion of this at any meeting they had last week. But I was informed that they're having a meeting tomorrow, and she's going to try to get up to speed and bring it to the committee's attention tomorrow. However, I do know, as we discussed in our last committee meeting, that if they do agree to pay for anything, they are going to probably not agree to anything more than what the letter of credit had been at the $164,000 amount.
That still would be something. I feel kind of bad that he took this to the committee meeting last week and now he no longer works for them.
I don't know that he took that. I don't really know if he followed through.
Okay, okay.
Is the current bid still gonna be good for going to 6 months?
Well, we would go ahead and accept the bid. We would go ahead and accept that contract.
They would be awarded the
That's why we're
contract
doing
now.
this ordinance right now.
Right,
And
yeah,
if
the
I'm not
6 month
mistaken, I
time frame
think,
is
I
them
think-
actually putting the order in for those
Yeah.
mast arms.
And I think too, I think the developers might throw in a little bit too, if I'm not mistaken, so.
Mr.
And
Fenton, is
I'm
that
willing
what you-
to have that conversation with them. I do indeed believe that they are willing
I've
to.
had that
So,
conversation, I think they will, so.
so between the letter of credit and I think
Yeah.
some help from this body and the developers, we'll be able to put that in with minimal cost here.
Yes.
Thank you. Did you have anything else, Mr. Fenton? Oh, you just stepped up there. I thought maybe you had something.
No, I
Okay.
was just here. in
Thank
support,
you.
whatever.
Anyone else have any questions or discussion points? All right, we're going to vote then. It's first reading on ordinance 01907-35. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, say no. Does pass unanimously. Item number 5 is first reading on ordinance 01907-36. Councilwoman Love.
Thanks, Mayor. This is an ordinance amending Gallatin Municipal Code, Chapter 11, Article 5, peddlers and solicitors and transient vendors. I so move.
Motion by Councilwoman Love,
Second.
second by Councilman Fan. Any discussion on this? I know everybody's voting on something that they just don't like. We have to, right? I think we will probably do a press release on this and get those door clings printed and distributed as soon as we can get that done. Yeah, I think we will. For anyone that's listening or watching, basically this changes the solicitor rules because we were threatened by a company saying that our standing rules were non-constitutional. Therefore, we have complied to some degree with what they had said that we were in violation of, which the main factor is that it extends the solicitation hours to dusk in the summertime. So in the summertime, that actually could be not just in it changes the time from 7 p.m. that it was previously to dusk. So obviously in the wintertime, that's going to be earlier, which is a good thing, but in the summertime, that's going to be later, which is a bad thing. So we are changing that.
But also, if it's a neighborhood, you cannot post a sign out in front of the neighborhood. It's got to be on each individual door for it to actually work.
I think that's always been the case.
Yeah, that's correct. It has always been that case. It has always been the case.
So that's why we're
So
pursuing the
if
door
you want
clings.
to be on the do not solicit list, you need to sign your own property up. And then you can always post your property. And if your property is posted, the vendor is supposed to immediately leave and not even knock on your door.
So that's what we're going to try and help with. And for those who don't know, there is a no solicitation registry. It's on the City of Gallatin's website, and you can sign up there for that as well. So, all right, this is first reading on ordinance 01907-36. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say no. It does pass unanimously. Ms. Kittrell, did you record who the second on that was? I wanted to make sure I got one. Okay, very good. Thank you. Item number 6 is resolution R1907-30. Councilman Hayes.
Yes, this is a resolution authorizing the Gallatin Rotary Club to install 2 pavilions and 1 barbecue grill in Rotary Park at Liberty Branch. Motion to approve.
I second that.
Motion by Councilman Hayes, second by Councilman Fennell. Any discussion?
Is that open to the public? Will it be open
Yeah,
to the public?
it's been open. Yeah, it's open. You just cannot access it from 31, which a lot of people were used to. You have to go down that road and access it from the back.
And they've already got signage up and everything, so it's gonna look good.
Yep. All right. This is resolution R1907-30. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, please say no. It is passed unanimously. That concludes the regular agenda, and it brings us now to other business. I know Mr. Wilkinson has an item for other business. Does anyone from this council have any other business this evening?
I just want to inquire among the council for some ideas or strategy of how we can improve the senior citizen as far as membership.
Okay.
I don't know whether to be putting flyers out or what, but I just want to throw that out there.
Do what, John? I'm sorry.
Trying to increase the membership for our senior citizens.
Yeah, and this council may not be aware, and Councilman Alexander, you may, because the director from the Senior Citizen Center is participating with us, but we've recently started probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 months ago, a Senior Citizens Roundtable, and we've been meeting for quite some time, and we have some established objectives and goals that we're working through, and we're getting ready to start with committees under that roundtable that will address some certain issues. One is like connecting seniors in our community, another is transportation for seniors, and then another one would be places for seniors to gather, with hopefully a lot of emphasis, if the Senior Citizens Board is willing, on that center. And so I think certainly that roundtable can be a big help in the efforts. We were talking before the meeting, Councilman Alexander and I were, and certainly I think all of you would be okay if we as a city put some information in our next newsletter that we have that goes out with the utility bill about the senior center and how people can, become members or go participate in activities there or whatever it may be.
I was just trying to make sure I gave Mr. Hayes a place to go.
That's
you already
very considerate of you.
Are you already there, Councilman Alexander? Are you a member?
Yes, I'm on board. Yes.
Are you? Okay. How old do you have to? At what age can you be a member?
It's 62.
Oh, well, from 55 to 62, yeah.
50, he just lowered that to 55. You're set.
Less than a year.
62.
Same age Sean is.
No, not yet.
But I, along with Councilman Alexander, would encourage any other suggestions or ideas that you all may have to help us spread the news to our senior population, because one of our things that we've discovered in our meetings recently, which is an interesting data point, is that by 2030, our senior, or what they're calling our senior population, which is probably the 65 age, is going to be 20% of all the population in Gallatin, which is substantial compared to now. Now it's in the low teens.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else? All right. Mr. Wilkinson has something for you all.
Yes, thank you. As y'all are aware, we've been struggling and working really hard to keep up with the increase in brush pickup. We've been trying to come up with some solutions to try to speed up kind of the recovery from all the storms we've recently had. One idea we've had is trying to utilize the property that the city owns on Steam Plant Road. If y'all remember, it's probably been 7 or 8 years ago, there's an old trailer park there. Through a FEMA grant, the city purchased the property. So we've been working with the Resource Authority and then their contractor, and they're all seem on board, looking at trying to stage the brush there on that property, which is city owned. That would help speed up the pickup, because we're having to work our way through the scales, and that's taking a little bit longer, because they're receiving an influx in trash and brush from all across the county. So that would kind of give us our own little dump site. Contractor to come process it there and haul it off from there. It'd be on a temporary basis right now. We could look at it as a long-term thing too, but I'd like to utilize that property just here for the next 4 to 5 months to help kind of speed up the pickup. I know the mayor has spoken to the neighboring property, one of the neighboring property owners, and right now there's no foreseeable issues, but we'll get with the neighbors, make sure everybody's comfortable with it. But
Do we need to vote on that, or is it just something?
Sounds like a great idea.
yeah, I don't know that a vote's necessarily. Just wanted to make sure nobody had any major issues.
Was
with
that by the
utilizing
railroad
property.
track?
Yes, sir. Yep.
So it's Councilman Hayes's old piece of property?
Yeah.
Okay.
At one time, I believe it was, but
No.
I thought it was a brilliant idea, so
Yeah.
I hope everybody's.
Are we halfway through this process, you think, of what's left?
maybe. I mean, of course, we keep on receiving more as people do yard work and all these little pop-up storms, but we've got a long ways to go for sure.
You think everybody's pretty much called in that needs it picked up? Because I've been telling people not to call, that we know where it's at.
Right, yeah, no, don't worry about calling in. We've got designated routes. They're running those every day, but it's just taking a really long time to get through one single route.
And another thing what Zach said is it will really help out on the traffic flow at the Resource Authority if we can do that, because, you know, we were looking at that last night, and I don't know if y'all realize this, in 10 years, I think the influx out there has increased 132% of trash out there in 10 years.
Yeah,
10
Mr.
years.
Wilkinson
I mean-
said that their average wait time to go in was an hour. And so
Not
you're trying,
average, but it's been as long as that at
Yeah.
times, and that.
and
Are
so,
they burning it?
No, the brush?
Yeah.
No, they're
No.
grinding it
Grinding it.
and then hauling it off. And what they'll do at this site, I think, you know, y'all not, obviously, we're not going to have scales there, but they'll weigh it, I guess, once they grind it and then haul it off, correct?
Right, yeah, we
Yeah.
pay based on cubic yardage versus
Yeah.
tonnage, but it all
Yeah.
ends up
Yeah.
the same.
And that's kind of what Hendersonville does now, they do that, so. Because they don't bring theirs to us, they do it down there.
And we'll proceed with that if, as long as nobody has any objections.
No, I think it'd be great.
thank y'all.
Thank
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Wilkinson, we appreciate that. Anyone else have any other business this evening?
Okay.
All right, we'll move ahead to public recognition on non-agenda related items. This is your opportunity to come forward and speak to items that were not on this evening's agenda. If you have any items of concern, we invite you to do so. I see. Again, just give us your name and address, please.
My name is Mark Schmidt. I live at 1011 Peninsula Drive. And thank you, Mayor, for allowing me to speak tonight, and thank you to the City Council members for allowing me to speak with you tonight. I've got a bit of a dog and pony show here, so paid $30 for this, so I'm going to use it. As you well know, I hope, I have been a longtime advocate for reducing the volume, the speeding, the noise, the pollution, blatant disregard for traffic signs on Belvedere and Peninsula Drive. It's just crazy out there. And we've even got, and I've talked with different members here, where the GPS routes individual drivers off the main highway down our street to cut through. And it's just out of control on that area. I was told by city council members and the engineering department that we needed to, the residents of this affected area needed to do a petition. So I've got with two folks that live on Belvedere, Liz Fry and Adrian Walsh. They're not here tonight, unfortunately, and Dorinda Carr that lives on Peninsula like I do. So what we did is Adrian and Liz worked the area from Gallatin Road to where it tees into Peninsula. Dorinda and I worked from that tee all the way down to Lock 4, and we went to the houses on our respective streets. Liz mentioned to me today that there's 26 houses between Gallatin Road and that tee. One of the houses is empty. One of the houses, the owner's in jail. One wouldn't answer, and one said it was a conflict of interest and he couldn't sign. So the 26 houses that we went to, we got in front of 22 people. 21 signed. 21. That's 95% of the people that we got in front of signed. So from what I did then was, and Dorinda was from the tee to Lock 4. There are 47 houses out there. 2 are vacant, and 1 we're just not sure of the status. It's for sale. It says sale pending. We can't get in front of the owner. We don't know really what's going on. So there was 44 people that we were able to get in front of. This is the last petition. We just was able to talk to the lady in the house after we turned our original petition in. We ended up getting her to sign. 44 houses, 44 signed, 100%. We got 65 signatures out of 66. It's just not crazy Mark Schmidt out there. It's really not. You know, I'm out there counting cars in my garage, and I've turned that information. It's just not only me, it's our neighbors up and down that whole street. And one of the things that was interesting when I was out there was most everybody has a story. You know, you thought you could knock on the door, you say, I'm out here signing this petition. They got to tell you a story. And not everybody, but there's all kind of stories of the same thing: speeding, volume, running stop signs, mailboxes getting knocked over, wrecks. One guy ran, those big ready-mix contract trucks? One guy took off after one, got in his car and ran it down. Wonder what the heck you're doing out here, running down our street. One lady told me, she said, I swear I got a throw trash in my yard sign. Every day I got to pick up trash from people throwing their trash. People say they call the police, and I'm sure they can, Gallatin PD can attest to that. I myself has called big, you see these big tractor trailers. I chased one down and called the company. It was Cisco Robador. Well, they're 18-wheeler going down the street. There's no business for that there. This is a residential area. People won't let their kids play in the front yard. They're afraid their kids will run out in the street and get run over. They're afraid to go for a walk. A couple of people said, I don't even want to go to the mailbox. I'm afraid to go to the mailbox. This is fact. I ain't making none of this stuff up. And even backing out of their own driveways because there's so much traffic. So the city council, engineering department said, you got to get a petition. We did our job. We got the petition. The petition, I believe, was turned in on July 8th to Nick Tuttle. Now it's up to them, you, kind of do your job and to come up with some solutions to figure this out, if we can figure it out. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schmidt. I admire your diligence.
That's
I
a good
do.
way to put it.
I do, and you're always very kind, and I
Yes.
appreciate that
Okay.
as well.
Thank you
So-
very much. And if anyone has any questions and want to talk to me, I'll be glad to talk about it.
Mr. Tuttle, you know how to get in touch with him, right? Yeah. Well, we're going to get something figured out. I think everybody wants that for y'all. Anyone else wishing to speak this evening under public recognition on non-agenda related items, it would be your time to come forward. All right. Seeing no one, I would entertain a motion. Motion to adjourn by Councilman Alexander, second by Councilman Fennell. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Everyone have a lovely evening, and thanks for being here. Good night.